So I think we are live. So we are starting again. Hi, hi everyone. I think we've been trying so long, to be able to book live. I know people are gonna be flying in, and our purpose of today's event is, talk about what can help you, shift your mindset and leadership, and be more globally oriented. I'm Alja from CEED Slovenia. CEED helps entrepreneurs facing their growth challenges. And today we have 4 really wonderful speakers from our region, who are going to share the insights, what helped them change their mindset and what do they have in common. They were all part of tech innovation, entrepreneurship, professional fellowship program they experienced in Chicago. So we're going to talk more about the program later on. Now I would really love to get to know you, and please introduce. I mean, I know you for quite some time, but let's have the opportunity for others, to get to know you. So can you start introducing yourself? Nikolina, can you please start again?
Okay, so my name is Nikolina Vučković. I am from Zagreb, Croatia. I have been in Chicago 2 years ago. It was a spring cohort. I have been placed in 2112, which is the Chicago's first incubator for entrepreneurs in business of film, music, and video. In 2112, they are part of Knox Studios, which are the second biggest film studios in in Chicago. And all in all, for me, as I am myself entrepreneur, filmmaker, and innovator, that was a great experience, since I have been able to share my skills to the group of 10 ladies that 2112 did one great program with one NGO that empowers a woman in film industry. So those 10 women, they have been writing their short film stories, and I have been the supervisor and script doctor for their stories. So I help them to develop their stories, to level it up, and at the end that they have like one great product where actually they had a full story, which was great to film at the end, which was the purpose of it. That was a quite journey, because I was on one side someone who has been sharing my skills, and it was nice to see on the other side how people improve while getting those knowledges that I could share. In 2112, by the time being there, they have been building their own app for music and film studio. So since I'm a tech entrepreneur as well, I help them as well to build something like technically, and I was giving them advices how they could improve or how they could change some things. So as I said previously, that was like the way of giving to that community, but on the other side, I received from that community, because I met so many great people, so great entrepreneurs, and at the end, I met my friends there, as Thanks. Some of you are. So that was just a great experience to be there, and if I could repeat it, I will do it. So
we all would, I know. Thanks, yes. Nikolina. Today, would you be the second one, please?
Sure.
Can you share more about you?
I'm Tadej Muršič. I'm from Maribor, Slovenia. And almost to the day, I went to Chicago 3 years ago. I believe on the 27th, and a couple of days before we met. But literally, I got introduced to the program through Alja. Like everyone who's not been here, and most probably everyone who has been there, has been introduced by. 12 wonderful people from Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia. I was placed at Energy Foundry because back then I was working on the early stage of the product of Alledio, which is an energy efficient thermostat, and I was placed at Energy Foundry, which is a VC focusing on energy startups and everything related to energy, so from grid to efficiency, etc. And I found a good match because despite those guys are not what I was looking for at the time, they had an understanding of the market and understanding of the problem what I was researching for. Because my main aim was to get insight on the business level and try to form the product based on those understanding on infrastructure and on relationships. And for me, it was a great experience. And I tried to give them back some of my marketing knowledge. So they Energy Foundry, which is a relatively small VC, very narrowly focused, they were trying to had some branding issues and trying to launch something on the site. So I was mainly trying to return some of my marketing knowledge.
Thanks. Thanks, Tadej. Tanya, can you tell us more about you?
Yes. Yeah, hi. My name is Tanya Madžarević. I'm from Tuzla, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I was part of the fall 2015 cohort. It was the second cohort of the WorldChicago Professional Fellowship Program. At the time, I was working on a USAID project with 4 tech parks in the country on creating internship programs and customized, specialized IT trainings for youth entering the labor market. So WorldChicago decided to place me with the company called Project Tech Teams, located on the south side of Chicago, which was actually innovative and engaging mobile app foundry, helping youth, particularly teenage girls in underserved communities, to learn computer programming and also at the same time to launch their businesses. It was at first a little bit different sort of target group. The girls and the community that Project Tech Teams was working with was a bit younger than what I was already doing in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But I sort of decided not to change my mentor and my placement and to go with it, and which in turn, you know, gave a lot of success and nice stories came out of this partnership, both in Chicago and Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thank you, Tanya. And Dimitar, I think you were in Chicago last year, right?
Yeah.
Can you share more about you?
Yeah.
First of all,
everybody, my name is Dimitar, Jovevski, coming from Skopje, Macedonia. I was the last fall 2019 cohort. That's supposed to happen now in 2020, unfortunately was cancelled. I was there with a group of other 14 people, and my placement was in a company called Inspire 11. It's a funny story that I didn't know it when WorldChicago matched me with that company, but they also have a subsidiary here in Macedonia, not in the capital town, not in Skopje, but in Tetovo. They have a group of developers. It's a kind of consultancy company for digital transformation, if I can say in one sentence. Since my main job is I'm associate professor at the Faculty of Economics, and I'm teaching in the business department. My narrow specialty is digital marketing. Also, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a company in this area, so it was a perfect match for me. So I really believe, especially we can see these days regarding the digital transformation, how it is important from a business-wise perspective. And I had the opportunity in that company in Chicago. I helped them. I was actually working closely with their marketing team to develop a sustained marketing strategy and to increase their brand visibility and create a brand awareness on that market. And when I came back, I'm still in contact with the leadership from the company. From what I can see, they're using a lot of that recommendation that work together on that. And I just participate on such kind of webinar last week. They're organizing due to the situation that was happening in Chicago and in the States with this global health crisis.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, and I know there's a lot of alumni of the program, you know, watching us now on Facebook Live, and I know some of them are also here on Zoom. And we have a special guest who's with us also today, Public Affairs Officer, JB Lidi from US Embassy in Ljubljana. Would like to say hi to everyone. So JB, can you join us?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me.
Hi, we do.
Hey, Alja, great. I just wanted to thank Alja and CEED Slovenia for putting this together, and our implementing partners elsewhere in the region. We love WorldChicago. Right now, what we're doing today is exactly what we're hoping, which is virtual engagement that leads us back to future hands-on exchanges and engagement. So I'm really glad that you're hosting this to encourage people to apply, because it's a great program. And I think that what this crisis has taught us is we've seen some amazing innovation in companies in the US who have been really flexible and adaptable to changing their workflow and their production and their manufacturing to try and address current challenges. And what they've done is reach out to international partners to expand their expertise and their resources. And anything we can do to help build those partnerships on the ground all the time so that we have them before we need them, but just because it's important for us, for the global economy, and to help rebuild the global economy in this day is great. So kudos to you, and I look forward to hearing from our guests.
Thank you. It's wonderful. So yeah, now we want to talk more about the program. So just really short. So the program lasts 5 weeks. You spend 4 weeks in Chicago, 1 week in Washington, D.C. All costs are covered. U.S. State Department is actually sponsoring the program. The next program will run from mid-October to mid-November. So anyone, you know, who are most eligible to apply are entrepreneurs and leaders from entrepreneurship ecosystem, business schools, universities, NGOs with startup and business mindset. And you have to be from Bosnia or Herzegovina, Croatia, North Macedonia, Slovenia, and this year we're also welcoming Montenegro, and we're really happy about that. And the biggest the purpose of the program is, if you want to expand to the US, if you want to test your product on the US market, if you want to gain a know-how, anything related to business entrepreneurship, we really believe this program is for you. But let's go back to our speakers, because they're going to share more about what they gained, you know, through the program. And yes, of course, if anyone has any questions, you know, if you're on Zoom, please write them down in Q&A. If you're with us on Facebook, write them under comments, and we'll be happy to reply to them. We also, Peggy Parfanov, who's the president of WorldChicago, is also with us. So later on, she's going to help us answer some of the questions that we don't know the answers to. So, but I would really love to go back to the speakers, and because you all started, you know, telling a little bit your story, you know, what you gained in Chicago, you know, but you know, now looking from the distance, you know, and what was, you know, your biggest, I would say, you know, or was it a skill set that you gained, or mindset change, or the know-how that you gained while you were in Chicago? So now let's go in another order, and let's start with Dimitar.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. I was, while we were speaking, I was thinking how I can put in one sentence. But I can say I changed the perspective of viewing the business in those 4 weeks. I tried to do some numbers. I love numbers. I tried to put something through numbers. So like we were active like 20 days, those 4 weeks, 5 days per week. And those 20 days, I was approximately around 50 different events and met with more than 150 people.
Wow.
And speak with them. And try to, with our cohort group, we do a lot of extra activities.
Extracurricular activities. We all did that. I mean, yeah. That's also the purpose. Sorry.
Those who know me better know that I'm really proactive in this field. So I speak with a lot of people, and what I can say, what I bring here is completely different perspective of doing and viewing things. And I think for perspective is the starting point if you want to change something or to do something better or in another way. So in one sentence, if I can say, the perspective is completely different now from how I see the things should be done and how it should be run.
Perfect. Thank you. Tanya? What was your biggest change?
Well, it was 5 years ago almost. So
I know.
4.5. Well, I have to say that I believe that all of my fellows from my group, and we did talk about it, you know, like halfway through the professional fellowship, is that we had prejudices, you know, before coming to the States, maybe thinking, you know, that we are less capable of doing things, which really turned out not to be true. And you know, after finishing the program, we felt really empowered even more than before in terms of doing what we were doing at the time. When it comes to my experience, I must say that it was a completely new insight into how things are taught or learned in the United States, in schools, through non-formal education, and also at faculties. I had the opportunity with my mentor to participate in several classes, and it was just mind-blowing, you know, like sort of comparing it to the teaching practices in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So basically, I decided to use that and to try to replicate and apply these teaching methods that my first mentor was using in Chicago, and do it here in Tuzla, in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thanks. Tadej? What was special for you?
Yeah, what really was something I couldn't have predicted was the environmental impact that the culture literally has on you. Because the culture is something you observe and something you understand, but literally once you are in that environment, the change really starts to happen. The fact is, you don't feel it at the time, but it starts changing you because you literally become an inside observer of everything that's happening. And I can say this on a business level, I can say this on a soft skill level, on practically on every way. And I was like amazed how much of the soft skill framework I didn't understand pre coming to Chicago, and at the same time how most of the people that I met are really understanding what it means to connect each other with opportunity. And at the same time, I wasn't used to gain so much perspective by really honestly sharing valuable information with people. I was quite impressed, and of course, we all feel the change, but in hindsight, I didn't expect that those things will affect me. And while we were talking, I actually allowed myself to draw something. I hope you can see this. It's literally a symbol for change. So you change the outcome of the process, and the process changes you. And this literally is what happens. So you have a goal, you come there with an agenda, what you want to achieve in this 5 weeks, but then this process and achieving this end also changes you back. And when I came back, I actually realized what I had learned in terms of mindset, in terms of skill set, and especially in terms of my soft skills. So, and I would say I'm still reaching out to at least some of the experience that I gathered and trying to replicate. It is a change.
Thank you, Tadej. And Nikolina, sorry, because I stopped you before, but you were just starting to say, you know, and I mean, I know you shared a lot of your know-how with with women who were doing the short films, but what did you gain, you know, during your stay in Chicago and Washington?
Just to go back to Tadej's drawing, it reminded me on Chicago Sloop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's
a little bit,
yeah, but I think what actually Tadej drew, actually we all went through in a way, like, and for me it always come to people and professionally and privately. I would say I couldn't imagine that in such a short time period, which is like 4 weeks in Chicago, I will meet so many people Like even 2112 is a hub where I was placed. It's a place where people come to introduce each other for different businesses. And my mentor and the director there, they made sure that actually every day I had scheduled like 3 to 5 meetings. And it was like huge. I was like per day meeting like 5 business people or entrepreneurs or like just like neighbors that they have been having offices there. So saying again, privately and professionally, my really network enlarged so much that it's abundance. As you know, we have this Catalyze alumni network, which is empowering us and which make us as well to do some things together. And there are like 2, 3 of my alumni that we do some projects together. So this is, for me personally, a huge thing, because you bond in such a short time of period, which basically you wouldn't just be in your comfort zone and staying around the same circles that you are used to. Again, Tanya, for example, I met her when she came for her prize, and we become friends, and Alja, you, and now Dimitar and Tadej. So I think it's at the end, which makes the difference are people, and all those people that we bond with.
I completely agree. I mean, none of us was actually together in Chicago, you know, and we bonded so well after the program, you know, within this Catalyze alumni network that we have, which is like amazing. We just had the same experience. It just always feels like we were all together in Chicago. We never were, but it feels like we are kind of the same breed, or I don't know, people, you know, and it feels really wonderful, you know, always talking to you, you know. And I know that we have a lot of fellows and alumni behind the scenes together. I mean, today with us.
And going back to that, for example, Roland, it's a great role. I think he's a homestay host, but for me, it's like having uncle now in Chicago. Like, you know,
we all feel like
and
that,
I think for every one of you, you know.
And now, I mean, because we were a little bit late with the start, and I would like to ask Peggy. Now, Peggy Parfenov, she's the president of WorldChicago, and she's, you know, makes this program possible for all of us. Peggy, can you join us, you know, and share a little bit about the, I mean, you're in charge also for the selection process. Can you share any tips, you know, how to be great, how to write the best application possible?
Absolutely. Good to see everyone. Good to see everybody, alumni and hopefully potential applicants. The program for the spring, just a note, is going to be sometime later this year, early next year. The program for the fall will definitely happen. We just have to be a little fluid with dates because we're in an unusual time, to say the least. But great to see everyone. For applicants, and what I would say is the same about all of you who've talked about what you gained, but you all came with an openness and a willingness to learn, and you also had demonstrated leadership before you'd even left the country. You were doing things that impacted the community. You realized you needed to give back to the community when you returned, and that was all clear in your application and in your interviews with us. So we're looking for people who are hoping to be better at their work, better themselves, but also help better their community is what we look at, because we know that's the long-term impact and the people that do connect with each other in a program like Catalyze. So, so that's what we pick, is great leaders.
Would you add anything else? I mean, you know, that we forgot, you know, in the first introductions of the program? Maybe.
I would just say it's a program that really is impactful. It does work, and it's a great match with the region, because Chicago is definitely not seen as the powerhouse tech world, but a lot is going on. It's really a place where a lot gets done, and it's a city that is open to helping others. And there's diaspora here from the Balkan region. So it's a good match, and all of our Chicago hosts that get selected to come love going over to the Balkans to do follow-on projects with their fellows. So it's a win-win for both of us. So to apply, April 30th is the deadline.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, and hello from Chicago to everyone.
Back to the region talks. So you touched upon that, you know, but I kind of want to, you know, before we had this live event, you know, we said that we're going to talk about more about any stories, you know, that you want to share, you know, that were really impactful for, you know, for you, whether it's during Chicago experience or afterwards, you know, as an impact that it had on you. So who would start?
Maybe I can pop in
Please.
Story. During the program, we also volunteered. So a weekend of volunteering is actually part of the program. And to be honest, Frank, I never volunteered before in such a way. And we were involved with a community that was spreading the initiative for clean and clear water. And we promoted their movement for one whole day. And actually, it was a really connecting and engaging experience. And before I thought, okay, everyone here's a mission, everyone has a timeline, everyone works their asses off, but you volunteer in between. But actually, you know, a different experiences praise you. And this is something that I wouldn't expect that would affect me, but some hidden way of connecting with people who co-volunteered with you and being part of something bigger actually was a really a thing I didn't expect that would happen and that will actually turn out great. It's not directly a story, but it's an experience.
No, but it's impactful experience, right?
But it's also maybe because of the Midwestern charm that's part of Chicago. Maybe before Tanya said, okay, it's Chicago is not like Silicon Valley, but it doesn't really necessarily need to be like that. It has other things that benefit the alumni in a great way, and this is definitely the charm and the speed of connection. In terms, I have a problem. Do you know someone who can help me, or does someone who you know someone else that could help me? So not only activating the second degree of connection, also third degree. This was really something amazing. People were willing to do in such a great extent that it impressed me.
I also believe, you know, I gained a lot of, you know, my networking skills progressed, you know, I was just out there, you know, and it helps you a lot, you know, all along. So, Tanya, would you share your impact story? I mean, you even got the prize for, you got an impact prize for, as a professional fellow. Can you share more? You know, how, when, what was that? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, sure. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I was actually working with Professor Scott Stewart in delivering this mobile app development program to girls in Chicago, and decided to replicate his teaching methods and his approach to Bosnia. And basically, you know, the program is structured in a way, like, you know, that at the end of it, you create an action plan and you actually say and make a promise that when you go back home, you will, you know, deliver certain activities, or you basically, you do it for yourself. You're not obliged to basically to report back to WorldChicago or anyone, but it's a sort of a promise that you make. So in my action plan, I actually stated that I would like to create a STEM community for youth in my hometown in Tuzla, because even before this Chicago experience, I was an activist. I'm also an engineer, and always sort of had this need in me to sort of return to the community and to share whatever knowledge I have or I gained in the meantime. So that is exactly what I did. Basically, I came back to Tuzla. I received a lot of help from the American Corner Tuzla. They provided me with space, with staff, with equipment. And I basically gathered several of my friends and colleagues from work and from faculty. And we basically started delivering programs in Internet of Things for younger kids, mostly elementary and high school age kids. By 2016, it was actually the time for, so I came back in the fall of 2015. In 2016, right away, it was the time for Scott to come to Bosnia or to the Balkans, you know, to visit me, to see what I'm doing actually, and to help me with this goal that I had in mind. So it was really successful. I must say that Scott is like a tall, two meters tall, black American, you know, which you don't which you cannot really see in my hometown very often, you know. So when he came to Tuzla, we went to the American Corner. We delivered this program for kids, you know, and they were first drawing and then making mobile applications. And it turned out to be very successful. Kids really loved him. You know, some of them even said he was like the best teacher they ever had. Everyone wanted to know from him, you know, whether he knows Michael Jordan or not. That was like the first question. And he was really, you know, like something fresh, something new in my hometown. And we basically managed to get him to other towns of Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. For this, he actually visited Bosnia 3 times after my experience. So the impact was really visible and evident. And with just doing this, after I think a year or so, we received an email from professional fellows and actually was offered to apply for this impact award. And I think it was the first time that they actually organized something like this at the State Department. So I believe all of us applied. I mean, I think all the fellows from my cohort. And I was shortlisted, went through the series of interviews with the State Department, and was picked as the one to receive the award. So having received this award also gave me opportunity to bring Scott back to Bosnia again in 2018, and because he's also a teacher in entrepreneurship, not just tech, you know, he's not just doing tech stuff. We actually went around Bosnia again, like a road show, you know. We had like a road show. We went to Trebinje, then to Sarajevo. We were in Mostar and also Banja Luka and Tuzla. You know, again, delivering workshops, seminars, and just having these talks with young people in terms of, you know, how explaining how things work in Chicago, how technology is taught and learned, and yeah, it was.
I know.
It was a very.
It was 2 times in
very.
Oh, so.
Yeah, at the first time when he was in Bosnia, you know, like we are working with these kids at the TechPark in Tera, and someone calls him up from Ljubljana, and they are like, Scott, can you come to Ljubljana and deliver a talk and this and that? And like the next day, he's on an airplane going to Ljubljana to deliver this talk. So it was also, I must say, it was also very exciting times for him as well. He really loved it.
I know. He's a really great guy. I mean, Dimitar, what would you say about the, you know, how it impacted you, you know, today? I mean, you mentioned a little bit, you know, but can you go deeper, you know?
I can say that I encourage all the people who are thinking to apply, that there is a bit for everybody in this field of tech entrepreneur business. So I was thinking what to point out, but I'll try to be short and point out 2 things, 2 sides of my story. So the first one is related to the business, and the second one is related to the university. The program is so well structured and so well packed that there is a lot of opportunity to meet people, discuss, to see the community, the tech, especially the tech community, the incubators, the universities, how they're working, how they're doing all the stuff. And while I was going on a regular my daily agenda, I received a LinkedIn message from a friend of mine who was in Orlando and asked me to come to join and to speak on a conference, Google Tech conference, and to speak more about what's happening in Europe. And I just during the weekend I flew to Orlando, and I participated to that conference, give the talk regarding these topics. But while I was there, I met with a really regular guy I thought it was a regular guy from Google offices, who is working actually on expanding or doing programs for accelerators at NGOs, universities, stuff like that. And from a just small talk, now we are in a phase that we are discussing and talking together with some people here also from Macedonia to open an accelerator at the university. I don't know what is going to happen. So it still is early negotiation process. We need to see what we need to do, but it's a starting point and really interesting. At what happened just from one call, one meeting, one talk with some regular guy. And the next thing I would like to point out is regarding the business, the States in general. Like this is my first time visiting there. There is a lot of business going on. Like if you try to compare to Europe, it's much scale level done. And there is a lot of opportunity if you want to do some business or you have some products or some services that you want to expand. There is a lot of opportunity there.
But be exact. I mean, we all know there's US is a land of opportunities. What do you mean? Can you be more specific? I mean, let's not be general.
From a business perspective, you can more easily talk. You have more easy access to people, to companies, to funds, to accelerators program, to foundings stuff, and you can engage and you can do what you have on your mind. And while visiting different meetups, usually every day I visit at least 1-2 meetups after working hour, after 5 o'clock. And on those meetups, I met with people, and it happened that with one of the people of one of the companies that I met on those stuff, we signed a contract to do some digital marketing stuff for them from Macedonia. So it was impactful from also for me from a business side. So let's depending what it's structure that as I said in the beginning, there is opportunity for everybody to find themselves in this program. And a lot of I need to say in my cohort, Kyla was the Slack ninja and great stuff, organizing us and going back and forth.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really wonderful to hear. Nikolina, your impact, what are you doing now, and how that impacted you,
I will just go 2 steps back. When I was listening to Tanya and her impact, I will then think to myself, oh my God, my impact was 0. Like if I will compare it to Tanya. But then when I think twice, I will say like, it was great, as I said previously, to see those 10 girls writing their stories, myself teaching them, leveling up their stories, then at the end, getting the great outcome. A year after, they were like messaging me, oh, we did or we shot the film, or it was a great, thank you once again. Or my neighbor who had just office next to mine in 2112, he's a lawyer, but on privately like hobbyist, he's writing some scripts. So he sent me his script. If I can just script doctorate or do the script doctoring for him and so on. So from that point of view, it was really great, that impact when you teach someone or when you give some advices or when you share your knowledge, when you see how that grows. I have been volunteering while in Chicago in network for technical entrepreneurs. They basically help high school kids in some sort of their startups. So I have been introduced as a judge to them, as a mentor. So I went several times to NIFT to mentor them or to judge them at the day when they had the pitching. So it was another way around for myself, because usually I'm the one who is pitching to people my projects or other people's projects, and getting those advices how we can improve with the project or what we shall change. So for myself was cool to be on that other side and to actually give and share my knowledge that could improve some other person project. Especially that was cool because they were like high school kids, and they had some like ideas how they shall build their businesses, and it was really great. While coming back home, it was like 2 years ago in spring, so I have encouraged lots of people to apply for the project. And some of them, they went, and I will ensure you that they will never go if I didn't encourage them, because they will just not believe that they fit to the project. But myself being there and seeing what possibilities are, and knowing those people's capabilities, I think I gave them a strength to apply for the project and to go and experience the same project as we did. So I think if we have an impact in our life on only one person changing the path on better, we already did our job. So, but not comparing with Tanya, I will say we all had this impact.
We should have at least 2 more people, influence at least 2 more people to be better than Corona.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Nikolina. I just wanted, I mean, we need to kind of finish. We have one question that Marco is asking, he's a participant from public sector from business support environment who took part, who would love to take part in some US export or investment agency. Marco, I'm just going to share with you. We're going to connect you to Kyla and Peggy, and they're going to tell you, but I think yes. I mean, I know people from the region who are part of public agencies, for entrepreneurship, foreign investment and so on, applied, went. So I don't think it should be a problem, but better to check with our organizers, WorldChicago. I would love, sorry, but we kind of have to finish. I know Tanya is running late. I mean, I can share. Can I share, Tanya? I mean, you have a 5-month-year-old, not 5-month-old.
5 months.
4-month-old baby.
4-month-old baby. So I would
4
love
months,
to.
5 days.
Oh my God. So I would just love to finish this conversation with the title. The title. Sorry. The title was Shifting to Global Mindset and Leadership. In one sentence, what was the biggest shift? Sorry, Dimitar. Can you?
What is the biggest shift?
Yeah.
Digital transformation. Okay. I'm feeling on a daily basis now this health crisis. Definitely, what I saw there, I'm implementing a lot of things that I saw here, especially in my daily work. New software, some new way of, some new processes, digital transformation. That's the biggest shifting I have.
Oh, thanks. Tadej?
I would say cultural observation and tying this cultural observation into business processes.
Thank you. Tanya?
Well, again, giving back to the community. At the intro, I didn't say I currently work as a coordinator for this UN-supported ITGirls initiative, which is empowering girls and young women to take on, tech education, tech careers, and also raising awareness in the private sector about the diversity that is necessary for our future, basically. So I believe that it was also, for me, it was a push to apply to get this job, and I got it, after this Chicago experience, and it sort of changed my perspective a little bit in terms of looking at, for instance, girls and women, and how hard their path is, you know, in lives. Particularly also now, you know, when I have this baby and being a single mom is really challenging. So I just, you know, in the end, would like to stress that today is the International Girls in ICT Day, and I'd like to say Happy International Girls in ICT Day to whomever is marking it. And also, yeah, I think that's it.
No, I really love, you know, because being part, you know, being part of this program, you know, we are really gender equal, you know, and this really helps a lot, right? Being surrounded with tech business leaders, you know, from both genders, so, and all genders, however we call it, and this helps a lot, you know, to everyone. I think today you haven't mentioned one sentence, you know, one sentence impact.
He did. I didn't.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Don't worry.
I mean,
I will
sorry,
say,
Nikolina.
no problem. I'm script supervisor, so it's fine.
Can you tell us where? I mean, where were you script supervisor? You didn't even mention it today.
So I think that the in
Can
one
I?
sentence.
Can I? If you don't want to.
You cannot.
Come on, sorry, Nikolina. Please.
No problem. So I will say in one word will be focus, because I got back to the focus. So we in the States, in business, everything is having focus, which means they certainly know what has matter, what does not matter. And it brought me back to my focus, I would say. Because at the end, there are things that does not matter to business or even private life. And as we see now, for example, this is the great time for now happening to have reflection, not only on our private lives, but on our business lives as well. And I would say that focus just got me back to that one word, focus. I would say focus.
Wow, really wonderful closing. I mean, you know, I think we all need another perspective, you know, on everything that we do, you know. On we're entrepreneurs, business leaders, NGOs, you know, universities, and I believe the program is, of course, we all believe that, but it's really impacted us all. You know, we kind of need to finish this session. I'm really sorry. I would love to drink coffee with you.
Lemonade.
Nah, that's cool. Oh, coffees. So what I wanted to share at the beginning, so if anyone has any more questions regarding the application program, anything else, please contact the country partners. So in Croatia, we have Carlo from TechPark Varaždin. In North Macedonia, there's Anna from CEED Macedonia. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, Zana Karking from DOIT. In Montenegro, Vladimir from Digitalizujme, and I'm the contact and I'm the contact person in Slovenia. If you need more info, go to WorldChicago.org or Catalyze.cc. Thanks, everyone. I mean, it was really lovely talking to you, you know, and I want to say hi and bye to all the fellows and alumni, you know, that I know that have been watching us, you know, and with behind the scenes. I think it was great.
Thank you, Alja. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And have a great day. Yes, hopefully in a couple of months, right? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
And thank you all for joining us.
Bye.